Storytime. Growing up, I lived on a hog farm, had 100 acres to roam, and 1,000 beyond that I was allowed to be on. Neighbors and stuff like that owned it. As a teenager, we got a, well, maybe preteen, I'm not exactly sure when, we got a Doberman Pinscher for, guard dog, farm dog, just because it was what was available, and I don't know that my dad paid anything for her. So that's what I grew up with as my dog. She thought she was more of a hound dog and definitely a farm dog than anything. She'd run the woods with me and go on, adventures and whatnot. We'd go down and, set crawfish traps for bait or go squirrel hunting, whatever. So this story is about a squirrel hunt I went on with her. Now, you got to understand, this dog was pretty much a sight dog. She didn't have much of a nose, or at least didn't use the nose as far as, running squirrels. She'd see squirrels, she'd run after them, run them up the tree, follow them tree to tree. She's pretty good at it. Amazing what a Doberman can do whenever they're doing something they're not necessarily bred for or designed for. Any rate, we were out one time, and of course, as usual, the first squirrel you shot, she got to have it. She'd go get it, pick it up, take it off somewhere, eat it. Keep in mind these stories aren't necessarily politically correct, and I'm gonna tell them like they are, and it's graphic, I guess, for some people, but she'd eat the squirrel. After that, she'd bring them to me. Occasionally, if we've been out there for a while and got maybe 10 squirrels or so, she might take another one and do the same thing. Didn't begrudge her that. That was her thing. The first one was always hers, which was painful sometimes if you didn't have a good day, but generally where I was, there were squirrels everywhere. We had a couple pecan trees, and they were into pecan trees. The woods were full of oaks. It was perfect squirrel habitat. So we're going along, and she gets up in front of me, and I hear her bark a few times, and then I don't hear anything else, but maybe a type noise. Not exactly that. So I get up to where she is, and I find her just furiously digging what amounts to a trench by the base of this tree. Really just digging away. So I pull her back, don't know what she's after, try and get her to move on. She goes right back to it and continues to dig. So I'm like, okay, guess we gotta let her do her thing. So she digs and digs and digs, and finally she gets into a point, I don't know, it's at least that deep. Long wise, it wasn't, but probably about that deep of a trench. And she starts jumping back a little bit. Darting in, jumping back. So I finally get her pulled off and look down in the hole, and all I see is this open mouth with nothing but teeth in it. That old girl had found her a possum hole and done dug up a possum. I ended up having to put her on a leash and take her away from that. She was bound and determined though that possum was going to be hers, and she had dug up, like I said, a trench 3-4 feet long, a couple feet deep, just to get to this possum. That is pretty much what almost any farm dog would have done. The funny part of it is she was a Doberman Pinscher, full blood. They're designed to protect property, not dig a hole for a possum. And we left the possum alone in the woods, and after a while continued on hunting. I put her on a leash and walked her out. We had several squirrels that day. She'd already had hers, and we were kind of on the way back on the loop to the house. So had a nice squirrel dinner that evening, thanks to the dog helping me out. But I just thought it was funny that, and of course at that age, I hadn't had much experience with possums either, other than just seeing them run across the road. So, you know, I was a little spooked when I first looked in the hole and all you see is just this wide open mouth with teeth. If you've ever seen a possum do that, you know what I'm talking about. If not, look it up. Alright, thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed the little quick story. There's going to be more. This was just the first one I could think of and wanted to share. Some are going to be a little bit more graphic than others. Some may be, you know, showing a little bit of what people would call stupidity. Good stories got its basis somewhere. It's not always, you know, the smartest decision that leads to the best story. There's going to be some stories out there that may make you question why I did it. Remembering some of it, I was a younger man. I didn't have as much knowledge and as much wisdom as I do now. And the other thing is, and especially when it involves, you know, fishing game or wildlife, times were a little bit different when I grew up than they are now. We didn't have as much knowledge of what we were doing to the environment as we do now. That's no excuse, but that just explains why certain things happened, certain things went that way. You did certain things because you didn't think and didn't know that they were as harmful as they were. Alright, thank you for watching.